Well, welcome class. I just wanted to kind of summarize our forums for the last week or so and just mention a couple things. I have mentioned in a lot of in your assignments when grading your papers, and most of you did a great job, a really fantastic job. The content was very good. However, some of you, and I would say most of you, aren't following APA format. And as I said, I'm not going to grade down on it. However, uh, it's it's imperative that you start learning now, because if you have to learn it by the time you get to your capstone, it's going to be even that much harder. So I'm trying to force you to use it now. Remember to use a title page, double space, indent, and reference, and include a reference page, and check the APA information that I put up on announcements. It's the Purdue OWL, and you can go right there and check it. And that way you'll know the important things that you need to include. And as I said, I'm not going to grade down on it, but you need to start using it as much as possible. And just a couple things on your forums, and I really enjoyed reading all of them. They were really good. Just a couple of them jumped out at me. First of all, Matt mentioned in his last post about morale and leadership, and him being in the Navy for 20 years. I'm sure they do a great job of that. I happen to read this book, and I put this up on the forum too, a picture of it by Simon Sinek. It's Leaders Eat Last. Great book. I read it last year, and I tell you what, I think every coach and every leader needs to read that book. It's really a good one. Matt mentioned some things in there that the book talks about too. So I just wanted to touch on that. That's a really good book to have. The next thing that I want to just touch on is the hazing. Some of you mentioned that in your articles. And hazing is a real problem. And the thing is, with hazing, they're not going to tell you what the traditions are in the team. And if you're a new coach, or if you're an athletic director and you have new coaches coming in, you need to find out what they are. And maybe call some kids in that you trust and get some information from them, because they're not going to tell you what those things are. We had an incident in our district 2 years ago, and I can talk about it. It was in the newspaper, but Ayala's football team was making a trip to Nevada, and an incident happened when they got there. And right before the game is when the coach found out. And in fact, he missed part of the game because he was dealing with several of the athletes who were suspended. And the principal was upset. It was in the newspapers. It was not good. So you need to find out what these things are. I used to mention in my parent presentations 3 to 4 times a year, every time I talk about hazing. And there are subtle forms of hazing. For example, our district did not allow our softball team to dress up in their pajamas and kidnap the other players, before the season. It was an innocent thing. And they would go to breakfast all dressed up in their pajamas and weird hair and all that. And but our district looked at that as hazing. I think we had one parent complaint, so naturally they're going to respond to that. So we even went that far as to say no more. It's unfortunate, but they escalate, and so you need to really find out. That was a great article. Craig, I think you mentioned that, and Sion mentioned it as well. And it's important, and it could cost you your job, whether you're a coach or an AD. You need to find out. You need to address it, talk about it. And talk about the various forms. They don't need to be, somebody beating somebody up. It could be a subtle form. We had an incident on our baseball team when I first started, where the last road trip, the freshman would ride with the varsity, and a varsity guy would grab a freshman's hat on the way back and tape it up into a ball and then give it back to him, and it would be ruined. But that was a tradition. And as soon as I found out about it, I stopped it, because one of the kids started crying. I didn't know what was going on. So it could be that innocent. And then, you get a parent complaint, and, it goes from there. So anyway, just to review real quickly, make sure you use APA format, post and respond on time, which most of you are doing a great job. And as far as your presentation, just let me know by that Sunday of that week, or the week that I've asked you to, what it's going to be on, and I'll say yes, go ahead with it, or maybe offer some suggestions on a topic. But anyway, you guys are doing a great job, and I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, email me, send me a message, and I'll get back to you. Thank you. God bless.